It is with extreme sadness that I confirm Toyota will stop building cars in Australia by the end of 2017. Let me assure you that
Holden will cease manufacturing in Australia by the end of 2017. This will mean
unfortunately, part of this transformation means that we will cease our manufacturing operations in October of 2016.
The one thing that I really enjoy about working on cars is the satisfaction you get when you do your own thing.
Yeah.
When you, for example, put on your body kit or do your own engine swap or anything like that. It's just really satisfying that you did it and you didn't have to go to someone else, or you didn't have to get someone else to do it.
Do you think that since Ford and Holden left, it will benefit Australia car scene in a whole, or you reckon it will be a negative impact?
It depends on what car scene you're looking at. It'll definitely impact the domestic car scene where the guys are really into their Fords and Holdens and stuff like that. It'll obviously affect them directly, but I think it will also affect the JDM car community as well, where there's always been that domestic versus import thing here in Australia, and I think it will affect it greatly because who's the next competitor? There's no one else. I mean, now that Ford's bringing the new Mustangs and stuff, I think that'll be the next thing. I think Holden is going to bring the Camaro as well. But yeah, I think it's a sad day that an Australian product has to close doors and go somewhere else. But I think hopefully they'll bring another product in to replace it that's just as good, if not better. The majority of the guys are switching to running genuine parts, having good clean builds and stuff like that. And because Melbourne's population isn't as big as Sydney's, the percentage of people having cleaner builds is much higher. So I think that's the one positive about the Melbourne car scene, which I really like. I'm starting to see more of as well.
Well, initially I didn't like the look of the fenders because of like the screws or rivets as people call it. Wasn't a big fan of how it looked. In the Melbourne, well basically these days that's the new car that's come out and everyone's basically purchased an 86 and it's a lot, like there's a lot in the car scene now and it's like, and there's heaps of aftermarket upgrades for it, but basically you're only limited to it. So basically everyone will be rocking the same wheels, same colour, or you know, vice versa. So I thought maybe if I wanted to stand out, I thought I'd go the extra mile and go for Rocket Bunny kit because I sort of liked the look of it and it grew on me. Well, if someone asked me why do I do that, why do I spend so much on it? I mean, each to their own is for one, but it's a hobby and basically cars make me happy. I mean, a lot of people spend money on their clothes, a lot of people spend money going out, a lot of people spend money on, I don't know, their house. I mean, it's personal preference, and if I want to do it, then I should be able to do it without being questioned, you know, and as long as there's a mutual respect between each other. Well, I'm a mechanic myself, and you know, like it's good. I love working on cars and everything, but I hear that there's going to be electric cars and computer cars where they drive for you and you don't have to drive. So that, I mean, it's good that it causes less accidents on the road, but in terms of car scene, I think a lot of people that in the current car scene will, if they know that, they would actually keep their car for a long time and keep it going. But again, laws can change with emission and like pollution, and they think that it's not good for the environment. Fair enough. And one day it might be illegal to drive it, who knows? And we might be forced to drive electric cars. We don't know. Hard to tell the future.
I've got a question for you.
What?
Do you want to see an over fender on a building?
What do you...
One of these on a building. Like, have you seen it before?
No.
No? Okay. Well, maybe we'll drive to this place just down the road on Grattan Street. I'll show you what it is. I'm not a car person. I'm not a mechanic. I'm not even close to being a car designer. Yeah. I'm not even close to being a car designer, but I've always liked cars since I was very young. And I am an architect in training, by training. I'm an architect by trade, and when I was doing some building design, I was looking at RWBs a lot because I like the way it looks. I like the sculptural qualities of it. I like the shape. I like what's before and after the transformation.
Yeah.
I felt that it was very, some of these designs are actually quite subtle. They're not as wild as you think. And although this is one of the wildest versions that you can get from Nakai-san, he also makes really smooth fended, everything is quite tucked in and hidden. Okay. Well, I haven't paid really deep, serious attention into the Melbourne car culture itself. Actually, probably I did dissect the Melbourne car culture in the last 2 years, and I think everybody is looking for a method to express themselves. Melbourne car culture is like that. People try and express themselves.
What do you think is the future moving forward, Melbourne car scene, knowing that no cars at all are being made in Australia? So when you go to America with the Mustangs with Camaros, they're made in Australia, but Japan with Nissans, Toyotas, all made in Japan. They all have to thrive in car scenes, but what do you think the future for even Australia, not even Melbourne?
Okay. What's inevitable is the demise of Australian automotive industry, of that industry, is making way for something new. I don't really know exactly how to explain it, although it's in my head, so I'll try. In the grand scheme of things, we are witnessing the demise of the internal combustion engine. Yeah. Emissions, laws, and environment aside, this beautiful invention is going to be phased out for what I think is an even better invention. Yeah, and in the form of electric cars or alternative fuels. It's not a bad thing for the Australian automotive industry because we are still supported. We still have the industries that support the top-notch car makers out there. And if you look into material composites and the way we design things, it's becoming more of a crossover into the aerospace industry. When you look at carbon fiber reinforced plastics and the way we treat the materials to create a shape and to create the chassis and so on, and coupled with electric powertrains, it's becoming more avant-garde and more high-end and more aerospace related.
Instead of the internal combustion engine,